Hey everyone, my name is Shannon, and I just wanted to make a little bit of breakfast for you today. Now, I'm not a professional chef or anything, but I love to cook, and I'm an actor, and I cook on a budget, so I just wanted to make you one of my favorite recipes for breakfast. I call it the Amazing Italian Egg Sandwich. This was a recipe I took from Giada De Laurentiis. She made a whole meal for a whole bunch of people, expensive ingredients. I'm going to make the cheap and easy way. I'm using a lot of ingredients from Trader Joe's. I've got Trader Joe's fat-free milk. I've got Trader Joe's Parmesan cheese. I've got, this is actually lemon juice from the 99-cent store. Nothing wrong with that. Fresh basil, eggs, of course, from Trader Joe's, and some whole wheat bread. This is the Harvest whole wheat bread from Trader Joe's. It's really tasty, and I think it's only like $1.99 for a loaf. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, so here we go. Let's get started. First thing we're going to need to do is prepare the bread. Now, we need olive oil. Olive oil and lemon juice. So, you're going to take your olive oil and pour about, let's see how much this is going to be. About a tablespoon probably of olive oil. I'm not big on measurements. And about the same amount of lemon juice. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's our olive oil and lemon juice, and now we're going to whisk it. Just whisk it until it's nice and blended. Here's what your finished product should look like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our olive oil and lemon juice mixture, and we're going to use a pastry brush and just brush it right onto the bread. Little known fact that bread actually will keep longer if you keep it in the freezer rather than in the refrigerator. Bread actually goes stale faster in the refrigerator. So for all of those that keep your bread in the fridge, don't do that. Either eat it right away, fresh, or put it in the freezer, and every time you want a piece, just take it out, and you can defrost it or just put it right in the toaster oven from there. We're going to do both sides of the bread. This is kind of like, I don't know, sort of like preparing garlic bread with the olive oil. And Gianna did it with fresh lemon zest. I rarely ever have fresh lemons around, so you can always just use lemon juice. It gives you a little bit of that lemon flavor, and it is super delicious. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to put it in the toaster oven. Perfect. Alright, while our bread is toasting, we're going to do the egg mixture. I've got my egg in here, ta-da, and I like to use the yolk. If you want to do less cholesterol, less fat, you don't have to do the yolk. Maybe do 2 egg whites instead of just 1 whole egg. I like the yolk, so I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of milk to this. A couple tablespoons, as much as you like. Not too much milk, because you don't want it to be runny. And we're just going to whisk it nice and good. And the more you whisk it, the fluffier your eggs will be. The number one thing to remember when you're cooking eggs is to not overcook them. When you overcook eggs, they dry out, they're not so good. You actually want to slightly undercook them, and after you're done cooking them, the heat of the egg actually continues to cook it just a little bit more. So remember that. Alright. Next, we're going to add all of my favorite ingredients. I'm going to show you close-ups of them. Parmesan and Romano cheese. It's so good. I'm going to put that in there. I love Parmesan. I like to use a lot. Let's see, how much is that? About a tablespoon and a half. Next, we're going to add a little bit of oregano. And here's our rosemary. I like to crunch it up a little bit so you don't get big stalks in there. Our fresh ground pepper. I love pepper, so I like to put in a lot. Now, of course, you can adjust all of these seasonings to taste. And as for our fresh herbs, we have our basil. You want to make sure that you kind of crush it up as much as you can into small pieces. That really gets the flavors in there. It's so good. I love basil. I happen to have fresh basil. If you don't have that, that's fine. You can also use dried basil, which is cheap. Now, of course, I love Italian seasonings. Basil, oregano, rosemary, so I add a lot. If you don't want the strong flavor, you can just put in as much as you want. And then we're just going to mix that up. And it looks like we are ready to cook. Alright, so we've got our egg mixture ready to go. That's got our egg and our milk, which we whisked together to make nice and fluffy. Then we added our parmesan cheese, our oregano, our fresh ground pepper, our dried rosemary, or fresh if you have it, and our fresh basil, or dried if you have that. Whisk that all together nice and good. It's looking ready to go. I'm waiting for my toast to toast a little bit more before I cook the eggs. I don't want either of them sitting out waiting for the other one. Don't forget when you're cooking, you always want to heat up your pan first before you add your butter or your oil or your nonstick spray, whatever you're going to use. Then you heat that up. I'm going to use nonstick spray. And then you add whatever you're cooking, whether it's chicken or pork or eggs. So bread is looking good. I think we are ready to go. We're going to heat up the pan a bit first. You don't want a pan that's too hot because you don't want your eggs to cook too fast. I'm going to put my pan on about medium to heat up and then turn it down a little bit when I put my eggs in there. Alright, the pan is warm. Just going to add a little bit of non-stick cooking spray. This is butter flavor. And for you actors out there, just like me, it has 0 calories. Going to let that heat up too. Our pan is hot. Our non-stick spray is hot. And now we're going to add the egg. Get the excess out with our spatula. Waste not, want not is what I say. And now, this is the best part, the cooking. And we cook these just like scrambled eggs. Turn up my pan a little bit. Remember not to overcook your eggs. They're looking really good and starting to cook quicker now, which is good, so you just have to be ready. Never take your eyes off eggs when you're cooking them. Flatten that out a little bit. Alright, and it looks like our eggs are done. Now we've got our toast. It's looking really good. And I'm just going to spread our egg right on top of that. Now, of course, you can do a whole sandwich. I like to do open face because it's only one piece of bread, which is not only cheaper, but it's less calories. And it's more fun to eat an open face sandwich anyway. And there we go. Now, for a finishing touch, I'm going to top it off with garlic salt, and we're ready to eat. Alright, our sandwich is done. For a finishing touch, I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic salt. I love garlic salt. And then we get to eat. I can't wait. This is my favorite part. That is really good. Alright, so that is how you make my amazing Italian egg sandwich for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or even dessert. It's so good. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is my first video. I hope to make many more. Talk to you soon. And now here's a close-up of our ingredients. Harvest whole wheat bread from Trader Joe's. Our olive oil and lemon juice with our pastry brush. Egg, fat-free milk from Trader Joe's. Whisk that. Add your Parmesan cheese, your oregano, your rosemary, your fresh basil or dried basil, if that's what you have, your fresh ground pepper, and then when it's all done, add garlic salt on top. It's so delicious. I hope you guys enjoy it.